The Galactic Empire's diplomats stepped off their sleek, black shuttle onto the orbital platform. Their tall forms cast long shadows under Earth's artificial sunlight, and their eyes, yellow, unblinking, surveyed the ships around them. To them, the vast shipyards looked almost like a child's playground. Rows of Earth vessels, shining in polished steel and white paint, stretched for kilometers. But to the Empire, these were toys unworthy of serious attention. Admiral Park stood at attention on the platform. His blue uniform was immaculate, metals gleaming across his chest. On the surface, his face was calm, professional. Inside, a storm of anger and tension boiled. He had spent decades building Earth's defenses, training crews, and overseeing the construction of ships that represented humanity's best technology. And yet, these aliens, members of a coalition that had dominated space for thousands of years, looked at Earth's fleet as if it were nothing more than a child's drawing. A small group of humans flanked Admiral Park. Captain Sue, a veteran of Earth's orbital patrols, and a few engineers who had worked on the newest warship. They were tense, knowing that every gesture, every word from the Empire's delegates could set the tone for humanity's future. "Be calm," Park whispered to Sue. "Remember, we show strength through control, not anger." The diplomats walked slowly, their movements deliberate. Their leader, the alien delegate named Khan, moved ahead of the others, his forearms gesturing as he spoke. The clicking sounds of his speech echoed across the platform. He paused in front of the Phoenix, Earth's newest warship, and ran one of his clawed hands along its hull, as if testing its weight. "This," Khan said, his mandibles clicking in amusement, "is your most advanced warship?" Admiral Park straightened. "The Phoenix represents the peak of our technology," he said calmly. "It is equipped with the most advanced missiles, lasers, and shields we have ever built." Khan tilted his head. A sound like laughter clicked from his mouth. "Amusing. Our civilian transports had similar capabilities 4 centuries ago." The other 5 delegates made similar clicking noises as if in agreement. One of them, taller than the rest and covered in green-patterned skin, floated a small device above his palm. The device scanned the Phoenix and emitted a soft hum. "Primitive propulsion system. Inefficient energy weapons. Barely capable of damaging even our minor shields," the tall alien said, his voice translated into English by a device on his chest. Captain Sue's hand tightened around a railing. She exchanged a glance with Admiral Park. They had expected this reaction. Humanity's technology, though impressive by Earth standards, was nothing compared to the Empire's fleets, vessels that had traveled light years for centuries, armed with weapons that could destroy entire planets. "Perhaps you would like to see our defensive systems?" Park offered, motioning to the engineers. Khan waved a dismissive clawed hand. "No need. We understand your capabilities. The Empire appreciates your transparency. It will make our relationship smoother." His eyes narrowed as he said the last word. Relationship. Not equality. Not partnership. Control. That was the Empire's true intent. Later that day, deep beneath the city of Sue, the Earth Defense Council gathered in a secure room. 20 men and women sat around a large table, faces grave under harsh fluorescent lights. Maps of space, holographic displays of Imperial ship positions, and data screens covered the walls. Director Kim, head of Earth's Space Defense Agency, stood at the front of the room. Her gray hair was pulled tightly back, her expression sharp and serious. "They're demanding 30% of our rare minerals and exclusive rights to our lunar territories," she said. "And this is only the beginning. As Earth integrates into the Empire, their demands will grow." Murmurs of worry filled the room. General Wu slammed his fist on the table. "Integration? They mean conquest. They take what they want because they know we cannot stop them. Our combined fleet wouldn't last an hour against one of their smaller ships." Admiral Park nodded. "You've all seen the scans. Their technology is centuries beyond ours. But we have a chance." At the back of the room, Commander Lee Jinho, only 42, listened quietly. His eyes were sharp, calculating. As head of Earth's secret project Prometheus, he knew something the Empire did not. Humanity had been working on technology that didn't just improve weapons. It broke the rules the Empire had lived by for millennia. Park moved toward Jinho quietly. "How much time?" he asked. Jinho thought for a moment. "The prototype works, but scaling it to a full vessel, training a crew, running simulations, 6 months? Maybe less." Park's face tightened. "The Empire demands immediate compliance." "Then we'll make them give us time," Jinho said confidently. "Our advantage is that they no longer expect innovation. They've ruled too long and forgotten how to adapt. Prometheus isn't just powerful, it's unpredictable. Park studied Jinho's face, a flicker of hope lighting his expression. Show me the demonstration, he said. Tomorrow 800 hours. Full test, Jinho replied. As they returned to the main council, Director Kim outlined the Empire's demands in detail. Earth would become a protected resource world, meaning basic protection from the Empire in exchange for total compliance. Any attempt to advance Earth's technology beyond approved levels would be forbidden. They fear what we might become, Jinho said quietly, almost to himself. Admiral Park placed a hand on his shoulder. Then let's make them see something they weren't expecting. For the Empire, Earth was a laughable planet with primitive defenses. For humanity, the real battle had only just begun. And deep beneath the oceans, in a secret facility nearly a kilometer below the surface, Project Prometheus waited. They laughed, but they don't know what we're hiding. Deep beneath the city of Su, in a secure chamber carved into solid rock, the Earth Defense Council convened. The room was cold and sterile, lit by harsh white lights that reflected off polished metal walls. Around the table sat 20 of the planet's top military and scientific minds, faces grim, eyes heavy with worry. Holographic maps hovered above the table, displaying the vast armada of the Galactic Empire as it orbited Earth. Thousands of ships, larger than any human vessel, cast their shadows across the planet below. Director Kim, the head of Earth's Space Defense Agency, stood at the front of the room. Her gray hair was tightly pulled back, her sharp eyes scanning every face. They've made their demands, she said, her voice steady but cold. 30% of our rare minerals, exclusive rights to our lunar territories, and full compliance with their regulations. This is only the beginning. As our integration into the Empire progresses, the demands will increase. A heavy silence filled the room. The weight of the words hung in the air like a storm cloud. General Wu slammed his fist onto the table, rattling the devices in front of him. Integration, he growled. They mean conquest. They don't negotiate. They simply take. Our fleets wouldn't last an hour against even one of their smaller vessels. This isn't diplomacy, it's extortion. Admiral Park's face remained calm, though tension rippled under his skin. He looked at the holographic display, watching tiny dots representing Imperial warships. Yes, their technology is centuries ahead of ours. But we are not powerless. We have options they do not expect. From the back of the room, Commander Lee Jinho shifted in his chair. Young, sharp, and unassuming at first glance, he had risen to lead Earth's most secret project, Project Prometheus. Unlike others, Jinho did not fear the Empire. For 3 years, his team had worked in secret, studying the signals from Imperial ships, analyzing their energy systems, and creating something that could change everything. Park moved toward Jinho, lowering his voice. How much time do we have before they begin extraction? Jinho's eyes flicked toward the floor as he calculated silently in his mind. The prototype works, he said carefully, but scaling it up to a full vessel, training the crew, running combat simulations, it will take about 6 months. Maybe less if we push the team hard. Park's jaw tightened. They demand compliance immediately. They will not wait 6 months. Jinho's expression hardened, confidence burning in his eyes. Then we'll make them wait. They've ruled the stars too long. They no longer innovate, no longer adapt. They assume their dominance is unchallenged. Prometheus isn't just another weapon. It's something they will not understand until it's too late. Admiral Park nodded slowly. Show me the demonstration, he said. Tomorrow at 0800 hours full-scale test, Jinho confirmed. As Park returned to the council, Director Kim stepped forward again. She pulled up the Empire's written demands on a holographic display. Lines of text showed every regulation, every restriction the Empire would enforce. Earth would be classified as a protected resource world. Imperial protection would cover only basic defense in exchange for full compliance. Any attempt to advance technology beyond the approved levels would be forbidden. They fear what humans might become, Jinho muttered, almost to himself. Kim's sharp gaze turned to him. Commander Lee? They don't fear our current fleets, Jinho explained. They fear our potential. Humanity adapts. Humanity innovates. When backed into a corner, we find solutions they cannot imagine. They've ruled for so long that they stopped expecting surprises. General Wu scoffed. Potential doesn't matter if we're wiped out before we reach it. Exactly why Prometheus matters, Jinho said. It's not about raw power. It's about being unpredictable. Using physics in ways they cannot anticipate. This project could turn their expectations upside down. A hologram floated above the table, showing the schematics of Prometheus. Unlike the Phoenix, Prometheus was sleek, almost organic in design, its hull covered with energy-absorbing panels. Jinho pointed to a core module at the center. This is our field generator. It doesn't just deflect energy, it captures it. The stronger their attack, the more energy it stores. Then we can redirect it. Their weapons, which they consider unbeatable, they will be their own undoing. Park leaned closer, studying the diagrams. You're sure it will work against their weapons? We've analyzed the energy signatures of their engines and weapons systems, Jinho replied. Our field is tuned to resonate specifically with them. For the first time, we can level the playing field not by brute strength, but by intelligence and design. The council murmured among themselves. Some faces showed hope, others remained doubtful. Director Kim raised a hand. All right. Resources will be reallocated to Prometheus immediately. No delays. If this project works, it may be the only thing that saves our world. Outside the secure chamber, the Empire's diplomats continued their inspection, unaware of the preparations happening beneath Earth. Khan's mandibles clicked in amusement as he studied the Phoenix again. Primitive, he whispered to himself. Such effort, and yet, it will not matter. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, nearly a kilometer below the surface, Project Prometheus lay in its hidden facility. Engineers worked tirelessly under bright lights, welding panels, calibrating energy fields, and running endless simulations. Every component, every detail, was a potential difference between survival and annihilation. Jinho walked among them, observing, adjusting, instructing. Faster. Check the energy feedback loops. We cannot afford a single failure. The sense of urgency was palpable. The Empire had given only 30 days before resource extraction began. Earth had to be ready, or lose everything. Meanwhile, on the council table above, Admiral Park stared at the holographic map of Imperial ships. His mind raced. Every strategy he knew, every tactic humanity had used, felt inadequate against such overwhelming odds. Yet, for the first time in his life, he felt a spark of confidence. They laughed at us today, Park thought. They dismissed our fleets, our defenses. They think we are weak. But they don't know what we're building. They don't know what we will unleash. The camera of imagination pans across the facility. Prometheus gleams in the dim lights, a vessel that seems almost alive, humming with energy that could change the course of the galaxy. Engineers move like shadows, working in unison, aware that the fate of Earth depends on their hands. And as the Empire laughed above, Earth prepared silently, a hidden storm gathering strength in the deep. The countdown had begun, and humanity was ready to surprise the universe. Deep in the hidden facility beneath the Pacific, Project Prometheus buzzed with energy. Engineers moved like shadows through the corridors, their hands flying across consoles, adjusting panels, tightening bolts, and running calculations. Every step, every second mattered. Humanity's future rested on this one secret project. Commander Lee Jinho walked slowly along the main platform, his eyes scanning every technician and every system. He was calm on the outside, but inside his mind raced. This was the moment that could change everything. For 3 years, he and his team had worked in silence, building something the Empire could never imagine. A weapon that defied their understanding of physics. Status report, Jinho asked, his voice echoing slightly in the vast chamber. Energy core calibrated, field generator at 98% efficiency, one engineer replied. All systems ready for full-scale test. Jinho nodded. Good. Bring the vessel online. The Phoenix had been humanity's pride, but Prometheus was different. Its hull was sleek and dark, almost organic, covered with panels that shimmered as they absorbed and redirected energy. Unlike anything the Empire had seen, it didn't rely on brute force. Its power came from intelligence, from the ability to turn an enemy's strength against them. Admiral Park and Captain Su arrived at the observation deck, overlooking the massive test chamber. The glass panels vibrated as Prometheus hummed to life below. Lights danced across its surface as energy flowed through circuits, panels, and conduits. Jinho approached a control console and tapped a series of commands. The vessel's energy field pulsed, faint at first, then stronger, filling the chamber with a soft blue glow. This is it, Jinho said quietly. The Prometheus field. It doesn't just deflect energy, it absorbs it. The more they attack, the stronger it becomes. Park's eyes narrowed. You're certain this will work against the Empire's weapons? Jinho smiled faintly. We've studied their energy signatures. Engines, weapons, shields. Our field resonates specifically with their systems. When they fire, we don't just block it, we turn it back on them. The first test began. Engineers fired a series of high-energy plasma beams at Prometheus from stationary turrets. The blue field flared, absorbing the energy like a sponge. Sparks danced across the surface, but the ship remained unharmed. Slowly, the absorbed energy began to redirect, shooting harmlessly into empty space. Field integrity holding, one engineer reported. Energy absorption at 100%. Redirection stable. Park let out a breath he didn't realize he had been holding. So it works. Jinho's eyes were already moving. It works in the test chamber. In space against a moving fleet? That's the real challenge. We need simulations, training, coordination. For hours they ran drills. Human pilots maneuvered simulated fleets around Prometheus, firing mock weapons and testing the energy field. Every attack strengthened the vessel. Every failure was a lesson. Captain Sue leaned over a console, observing the data. "It's beautiful," she said quietly. "The Empire won't even know what hit them." But Jinho shook his head. "They'll try to understand. They always do. The key is to stay unpredictable. Prometheus isn't just a weapon, it's a strategy, a way to fight that they've never faced." Above them in orbit, the Empire's ships drifted like dark clouds. They had no idea of the storm gathering below. They laughed at the Phoenix, mocked humanity's defenses, and assumed control over Earth would be easy. Yet, down here, in the depths of the ocean, humanity was preparing for the first real challenge of its existence. Prometheus was more than metal and circuits. It was hope, ingenuity, and survival embodied. Jinho walked among his engineers, checking systems, adjusting calibrations. Every panel must function. Every pulse must be synchronized. One error and all of this is useless. The countdown had begun. The Empire expected compliance, extraction, and submission. But Earth had a different plan. For the first time, humanity had something the Empire did not: unpredictability. As the sun set over the Pacific, the glow from the facility's energy fields lit the water above like a second horizon. Prometheus pulsed, alive with power, waiting for the day it would leave the oceans and challenge the galaxy's greatest fleet. Park watched Jinho and the team. "They laughed at us today," he said softly. "They still do. But soon, they won't be laughing anymore." A technician approached with final test results. "All systems are operational, Commander. The field is stable. The ship is combat-ready in simulations." Jinho studied the data. His mind was already racing ahead. "Tomorrow we'll run a live demonstration against full-scale attacks. If this works, the Empire will realize they underestimated us. And they won't be able to recover from it." Park's face was grim but resolute. "Then we make them notice." The room was silent for a moment. The hum of Prometheus systems filled the chamber. It was a quiet, tense silence, the kind that comes before storms, before battles that change history. The Galactic Empire, thousands of kilometers above, continued to orbit Earth, unaware of the weapon being built beneath the waves. Their diplomats had dismissed the Phoenix. They had mocked humanity. They had laughed. But Prometheus waited, patient, silent, and deadly. The Empire believed they were invincible. They believed Earth was nothing. They were wrong. The next morning, the council room beneath the city of Su felt heavier than ever. The holographic displays of Imperial ships flickered ominously, showing hundreds of vessels now in high orbit, their positions calculated and precise. The Empire was not merely observing, they were preparing. A sharp knock echoed at the door. It slid open and the Imperial envoy entered. Towering over the humans, nearly 7 feet tall, his skin a deep purple that darkened with anger. 4 fingers tapped against the polished table, the sound sharp, demanding attention. The translator device on his chest converted his clicks and whistles into harsh, commanding English. "Your delays are unacceptable," the envoy said, his voice booming across the chamber. "The Galactic Empire grows impatient. We have given you 30 Earth days to begin resource transfers. That time ends tomorrow." Director Kim did not flinch. She remained seated, hands folded calmly on the table. She had learned long ago that showing fear only encouraged the Empire's arrogance. "We are simply requesting additional time to prepare the first shipment properly," she said evenly. "Mining operations must be expanded to meet your quotas without causing economic collapse on our world." The envoy's yellow eyes narrowed, glowing with a strange, unnatural light. "Your economic concerns are not our problem," he said. "The treaty you signed clearly states the terms. Compliance is mandatory." General Wu slammed his fist on the table, disbelief and anger flashing across his face. "We agreed to handle extraction ourselves. This is unfair. You can't just take what you want." "Human, the envoy said, leaning forward, voice low but threatening. "This is not a negotiation between equals. Your world has been categorized as a resource-class planet. You should be grateful that we do not take what we need without consideration." Director Kim remained calm. "We understand the Empire's position. We only ask 30 more days to prepare the first shipment properly." The envoy rose, towering over the council. Every movement seemed designed to intimidate. 7 days after that, extraction will begin. And know this, any attempt to hide or protect resources will be met with immediate penalties. He turned sharply and walked toward the door. The chamber felt colder, smaller as his shadow passed over them. The door slid shut behind him, leaving a heavy silence. For several seconds no one spoke. Then General Wu slammed a hand onto the table again. "They can't do this. We agreed to handle it ourselves." Director Kim's expression was stern. "General, that is the reality we face. The Empire will act as they please. Our job is to survive and to buy time." She tapped her communicator. "Get me Manderley. I need to know how close they are to deploying extraction teams." Far below, in the hidden depths of the Pacific, the Prometheus facility hummed with activity. Engineers and scientists worked feverishly, aware of the clock ticking down. Commander Jinho moved among them, adjusting circuits, checking the energy field, ensuring that every part of the vessel was ready. "Time is short," he said to the lead technician. "The Empire thinks they control the schedule. They are wrong. Prometheus will be ready before they can strike." The engineers nodded, their hands moving faster, fueled by the urgency. Every panel, every energy conduit, every simulation mattered. The countdown had begun. Above the oceans, orbital sensors detected Imperial shifts. Their ships were reorganizing, preparing to move against Earth. Admiral Park observed the readings from the council room, his face tight with worry but his eyes burning with determination. "They think fear will make us compliant," he muttered. "They think Earth is weak. They are wrong." Captain Su stood beside him, glancing at the holographic display. "The Phoenix is ready, but the Empire's fleet, it's overwhelming." "Not for long," Park replied. "Prometheus changes everything. They've underestimated us at every turn. That is their mistake." The council debated strategy in hushed, tense voices. Every plan, every calculation accounted for the Empire's unmatched technology. Every mind in the room was aware that the next 7 days could determine humanity's fate. Meanwhile, Jinho activated a series of simulations in the Prometheus control room. Energy pulses flowed through the field generator. The ship absorbed and redirected attacks from virtual Imperial ships. Every simulation was closer to reality than the last. Every test built confidence. "Field is stable," a technician reported. "All systems at maximum efficiency. Prometheus is combat-ready in simulation." Jinho nodded. "Soon it will be combat-ready in reality. The Empire doesn't know what's coming." Park returned to the observation deck, staring out at the stars. Above, the Empire's warships floated like dark clouds, arrogant and mocking. They had laughed at Earth's Phoenix. They had dismissed human technology. They had underestimated the planet. But down here, beneath the waves, humanity was preparing a storm the Empire could not predict. Every panel, every circuit, every energy pulse in Prometheus represented defiance, intelligence, and survival. Director Kim's voice broke the tense silence of the council room. "Remember this," she said, her eyes sweeping across the table. "The Empire is powerful, but they are not infallible. They have ruled too long. They have stopped expecting the unexpected. That is our advantage." The envoy's threat had only sharpened their focus. Humanity had 7 days to prepare, 7 days to turn fear into strength. Each hour brought Prometheus closer to readiness. Each simulation brought confidence. The clock ticked down relentlessly. The Empire expected submission. Earth prepared for resistance. And somewhere deep beneath the oceans, Prometheus pulsed with energy, a silent promise of power, of strategy, of humanity's unexpected fury. The Empire thought patience was on their side. They were wrong. Humanity had a secret weapon. And the countdown had begun. The waters above the secret facility were calm, but beneath the surface, a storm of energy and preparation pulsed through the massive hidden hangar. Prometheus hummed like a living thing, its dark, sleek hull glowing faintly as energy flowed through its circuits. Engineers worked tirelessly, adjusting systems, running last-minute checks, ensuring that every panel, every conduit, every energy pulse was perfect. Commander Jinho walked along the observation deck, his eyes sharp and calculating. Beside him, Admiral Park and Captain Sue observed the final pre-launch procedures. "This is it," Park said quietly, his voice low, almost reverent. "Everything we've built, all our years of work, it comes down to this moment." Jinho nodded. "They laughed at the Phoenix. They dismissed our defenses. But Prometheus isn't just a ship. It's a statement. They won't know what hit them until it's too late." The engineers activated the propulsion system. The field generator pulsed brighter, absorbing power from the ship's core and preparing to redirect it. Sensors confirmed the system's stability. Every simulation, every test, every calculation had led to this moment. Above, in orbit, the Empire's fleet detected unusual energy fluctuations from Earth's oceans. Sensors blinked rapidly aboard the capital ship of the Imperial Armada. Khan, the alien delegate who had mocked the Phoenix weeks before, leaned over the console, mandibles clicking with annoyance. "They are activating something," he said. This was not anticipated. At the facility, a countdown began. Lights along Prometheus' hull glowed in sequence, synchronized with the thrumming pulse of the field generator. 3, 2, 1. The ship lifted from its hangar, water cascading around it in a shimmering curtain. It rose through the ocean layers effortlessly, its dark hull cutting through the surface like a blade. The human crew braced themselves as Prometheus breached the surface, engines roaring, leaving behind a trail of turbulence in the ocean. Admiral Park watched from the observation deck as Prometheus stabilized in orbit, aligning with the fleet's defensive grid. "All systems report green," he said. "This is our moment. Let's show them humanity is not weak." Far above, the Imperial fleet moved into formation, massive warships drifting like predatory beasts. Sensors tracked the new vessel, their systems calculating trajectory, speed, and potential threats. Khan's clicks and whistles became urgent. "That ship, it shouldn't be capable of reaching orbit this quickly. Energy signatures are unusual." Jinho activated the field generator fully. A shimmering blue aura enveloped Prometheus. The sensors indicated energy absorption levels increasing rapidly. Missiles launched from simulation pods fired at the vessel, striking the field. Sparks erupted as the energy pulses were absorbed, redirected harmlessly into empty space. "It's working," Jinho whispered. "The more they attack, the stronger it becomes." Imperial vessels opened fire in a coordinated barrage. Laser beams and plasma bolts streaked toward Prometheus. But the ship's field absorbed every strike, storing energy like a battery. The blue aura flared brighter, pulsing with increasing intensity. Khan's claws tapped impatiently on the console. "This is impossible," he muttered. "Their shields, they are not shields. They are amplifiers. They turn our weapons back on us." Prometheus moved with precision, releasing bursts of stored energy back into the path of the attackers. Imperial shields flickered under the unexpected force. Smaller ships were thrown off course. Alarms blared aboard the Empire's capital ship. Captain Sue gripped her console tightly, eyes wide. "They didn't see this coming," she said. "They thought Earth was weak. They were wrong." Admiral Park's face lit with determination. "This is just the beginning," he said. "We hit them where they least expect it. We fight smart, not just hard." Prometheus weaved through the incoming fire, absorbing and redirecting energy with perfect timing. Each pulse shocked the Empire's fleet, creating confusion and chaos. They had faced advanced technology before, but never anything like this. Jinho's mind raced, calculating trajectories, power redistribution, and counterattacks. "Prepare the next volley," he commanded. "We are not here to hide. We are here to fight, and to show them humanity is more than they imagined." Above, Khan's clicks turned frantic. Orders were shouted across the fleet. Imperial ships tried to regroup, but their attacks only fed Prometheus' field, making the ship stronger with each strike. What had begun as a test of survival had become a lesson in human ingenuity. The battle raged across orbit, a symphony of light and energy. Prometheus moved like a predator, every strike precise, every move unpredictable. The Empire's fleet, vast and powerful, struggled to adapt. They had dismissed Earth's technology, mocked humanity, assumed dominance. Now they were learning the cost of underestimation. Admiral Park watched the battle unfold on the holographic displays, a mix of awe and pride in his eyes. "They laughed at us. They won't be laughing anymore," he said, his voice steady. "Prometheus is not just a weapon. It's a message. Humanity is not weak. Humanity is unstoppable when pushed to the edge." The lights of Prometheus pulsed like a heartbeat, absorbing the Empire's attacks and striking back with force and intelligence. The tide of battle had turned. Earth's secret weapon had shown its power. The Empire had underestimated the humans. And now they would pay the price. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Empire faced an enemy they did not understand, and that enemy was human. The stars above Earth's orbit were streaked with flashes of energy and the distant glow of fires from the Empire's retreating ships. Prometheus floated among the wreckage, its blue energy field dimming slightly as the last waves of the Imperial barrage were absorbed and neutralized. The vast galactic fleet that had once loomed over Earth now scattered in disarray, stunned and confused. Humanity had survived, and had struck fear into the heart of the Empire for the first time. Commander Jinho walked along the deck of Prometheus, his eyes scanning the ship's systems. Engineers and pilots moved about, exhausted but triumphant. Every console beeped in rhythm with the ship's energy core, now stable after its first real battle. They had tested every theory, every calculation, but nothing compared to the reality of combat. And yet, Prometheus had performed flawlessly. Admiral Park joined Jinho, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You did it," Park said quietly, awe and relief in his voice. "They thought we were weak. They thought the Phoenix was our peak. They laughed at humanity. And now," he paused, letting the weight of their success sink in. "Now they won't laugh again." Captain Sue approached, her uniform dusty from hours of tense monitoring. "The Empire's fleet, they're retreating faster than expected," she reported. "They underestimated the energy field. Every strike we redirected, it shocked them. Chaos in their ranks." Jinho nodded. "They will regroup. They always do. But we've shown them something they cannot ignore. Humanity is not predictable. Humanity is not weak. We adapt, we innovate. And that is why Prometheus works." The Council's secure chamber filled with humans watching live feeds from Prometheus. Director Kim's expression was calm, but her eyes sparkled with satisfaction. "This is more than a victory," she said. "It is a message. Earth is not a resource to be exploited. Humanity will defend itself, intelligently and ruthlessly if necessary." Back on Prometheus, the ship's systems recorded every movement of the retreating Imperial fleet. Jinho analyzed the data, noting patterns, weaknesses and reactions. "They still don't understand our technology," he said. "Every attack they made only strengthened Prometheus. We've turned their arrogance into their downfall." Admiral Park looked out the viewport at the remnants of the once mighty Imperial fleet. He thought of the first time the diplomats had laughed at the Phoenix, the dismissive clicks and gestures of Khan, and the smug certainty of the Empire. "They assumed centuries of dominance made them invincible," he said softly. "They assumed we were nothing. They assumed wrong." Captain Sue placed a hand on Park's shoulder. "Do you think they'll come back?" she asked. Park's gaze did not leave the viewport. "Yes," he said. "They always do. But next time they will remember today. Next time they will think twice before underestimating humanity. And we will be ready." The Council on Earth watched the energy readings, showing Prometheus absorbing residual Imperial attacks and stabilizing. Even the Phoenix and other human vessels that had supported the operation seemed small in comparison. But humans knew the truth: the scale of the fleet did not matter. Strategy, innovation, and adaptability mattered more than numbers or size. Jinho spoke quietly to the bridge crew. "This is only the beginning. The Empire has centuries of experience, but they do not understand human ingenuity. They will not know what to expect next. Prometheus is not just a weapon. It is the first step in showing the galaxy that Earth is not to be ignored." Admiral Park placed a hand on Jinho's shoulder. "We'll need more ships, more crews, more systems," he said. "But today we proved something important. Humanity is not weak. Humanity is strong when it matters most." As Prometheus stabilized in orbit, the surface of Earth below seemed calm and peaceful, but beneath that calm lay a renewed determination. Humanity had survived its first major encounter with the Galactic Empire, and it had emerged victorious through intelligence, ingenuity, and courage. Director Kim addressed the Council one last time before ending the live feed. "Let this day be remembered," she said. "The Empire believed they could intimidate us, control us, and take what they wanted. They believed humanity was insignificant. Today we prove them wrong. And when they return, they will not forget it." Above, in the vast expanse of space, the Empire's remaining ships regrouped. Khan and his fellow delegates chattered urgently, trying to process the unexpected defeat. They had underestimated humans, underestimated their creativity, underestimated their will. It was a mistake that would echo across the galaxy. On Prometheus, Jinho, Park, and Sue stood together on the bridge, watching the stars where the Empire had once been a looming threat. The hum of the ship's energy field was steady now, a quiet promise of power and protection. Admiral Park turned to Jinho. "We've won this battle," he said. "But the war is not over." Jinho nodded, a determined glint in his eyes. "No. But now we know we can fight and we can win. Humanity will never again be underestimated." And far below the ocean, Prometheus waited silently, a beacon of hope, ingenuity, and the unexpected strength of a species the galaxy had laughed at, until now. The Empire had learned a lesson: never underestimate humans. But the story was far from over, and humanity was ready for whatever came next.